Hello game devs, welcome back to another GDevelop 5 tutorial. So today I'll be showing you how to create a knife hit game in GDevelop 5. So as usual, let's have a preview of what this would look like once we're done. Okay, so this is what a knife hit game looks like. I played this, I played the original one last year, and I think since then I've been wondering how if it's possible to create the game in GDevelop 5 until I got this tutorial request asking how to create this in GDevelop 5. So I worked it out because GDevelop does not have a ping behavior, so it was really hard sticking a knife to the wood. And okay, so but I did it, so I'll show you how to do that today. So close that, minimize, open GDevelop 5, create a new project. Okay, so let's create an empty game. Just in case you need to GDevelop, GDevelop is an easy to use game creator with no programming language to learn. Okay, so first of all we need to add a new scene. Let's add a scene and name this. Okay, I'll just rename this. Okay, before we begin, this is my first tutorial in GDevelop Beta 93, so if you don't have yours updated, I would advise you update it, and as usual, I would also advise you to leave this checked. Also download and install updates recommended by GDevelop, and I would also recommend that. Okay, so here we go. I'll just rename this knife hit. Okay, so open that up. I'll close all this menu. Okay, so there we go. Now let's resize our scene. Let's change our window width. Okay, game settings, properties. I want a width of about 400 and a height of 600. Apply. Okay, so now let's add some objects. Let's add our background first. It would be a sprite. Add an animation. Add. So this is our BG. It's a wood I got from an example in GDevelop 5. So okay, BG. Apply. I'll put this into the scene. X position 0, and the Y position also same 0. So we need to fit the window width. So we need to set the width right here to about 400, which is the width of our window, and the height of 600. Set other. I want a value in the minus or a negative value. Okay, so now let's add in our wood. Add a new object. Our wood will be a sprite because we need to edit the hitbox. So add an animation. Add. So there we go. This would be our wood. I will name this wood. Okay, so let's go to our points. Let's reposition the points of this X position 256, and on the Y position let's say 200, and let's go with something like 257.5. I think that positions it in the middle. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so close that, and now let's edit our hitbox. This is the main point of this. You have to get the perfect hitbox, or else this would not work. So by default you get this square hitbox, which comes in every animation. You get this the custom hitbox, so we need to edit the custom hitbox. And okay, so let's begin. So use a custom collision mask. That's collision mask. Now we need to add in points. So there we go. Now first of all we get the quadrilateral, which is this it's a quadrilateral actually, so you can reposition this. But now let's fit it up. So X position, for the first we need a value of like 500. Okay, before we do that, I think I'll just create 17 points because that's the exact same number of points I created in my the example I showed you. So this will be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay, so there we go. That's 17 points. So okay, for the first point, I'll go with some like 504. So we're trying to get a circle around this. So first point 504, and for the y we need something about 285. So that positions it right here. Second, let's go for some 499 and y 201. Next point 474 and y 130. So here we go. Next point 421 and y 65. And so we get that. Next 355 and y 22. Same here, 245. And next point, let's go something like 2. So I'll just show you this. So as you can see, we're forming a circle. We have this point right here. So we just keep on going. We have all our 17 points at this exact position, so we need to keep on going. No, my points might be different from yours because you don't know the animation or the size of your sprite, so you have to get these points by yourself. You just create your points and position that this. So 245. Next point 129 and 32. So next point 41 and I think let's go with 116. Next point 8 and 200. Next point so this is the x position, so 5, and for the y position 302. Okay, so next I'll set this to about 40 and 390 for our y. 390. Okay, so next we're almost done. 120, and for the y I'll get something like 474, and here we go. Next 225 and 507. Next point will be 308 and 504. Next point 385 and 470. Next point we go with 443 and 422. Now for our last points, which would be 486 and 300, 300 and let's go with something like 358. So there we go. Now we have this circle. Okay, so I know it's not aligned with this. I gave this additional border so our knife fits in perfectly. So there we go. So close that and apply. Now let's put this into the scene. Word, we need to resize this, so I'll just position this on x 200 and on the y 200. Now let's resize this. Let's go with something like 200 for our width and 200 for our height. Now that's small. Okay, that's perfect. Now so let's add in our knife. Add new object, sprite, add an animation, add. Here we go, this will be our knife. There we go, knife. Edit hitbox. We need to edit the hitbox of our knife, and we also need to edit the points of our knife, which would be that's the best strategy I could come up with to get our knife stick into the wood. So for now, let's just fix our points. So use a custom collision mask and vertices. Add for the first, I'll go with some like 2 and y 71. Here we go. Here I'll go with some like 15, and for the y 74, and here we go. Next for the x, which would be 27, and for the y 70, and for the x, which would be our last x, let's go with a value of 15, and for the y 157. So there we go. Now we get this. I'll just zoom in, so we get this shape. Okay, I'll just add a point and 66 right here. Sorry, right. I think I messed this up. Okay, so here we go. 15 and point 66. Same here, 27.66. Okay, so that's okay, perfect. So we get this shape, our collision masks, because we need this to be inside our wood, so we have to leave this without a collision mask. Okay, so close that and points. Now let's edit our points. Okay, so for origin, okay, something about 15, which is half of this, and for the y, minus 17. Sorry, minus 17. Okay, that's not getting the minus. So that minus. Okay, so we get that there. Okay, so now for center point, same here. We go with the value 15, and for the y, minus 17. Okay, keep getting this done. Okay, so this is the point we attaches to the center of our wood. So add a new point. Let's go with point, and here we go. X value 15, and for the y, 0. Okay, so close that up. Here we go. So apply, and let's pull our knife into the scene. I'm gonna position that right here. So with here on the x-axis 0. No, that's not right. Okay, so I think it's better we let our events create a knife first. So add new object. Let's add a sprite. This would serve as a collision sprite. So add edit with Pisco. Okay, so let's paste this and save, and here we go, collision box. Okay, so apply and pull this into the scene. Let's position this x 0, and on the y really 418. Sorry about that. Okay, so there we go, and now z other, I need something about 10 value, sorry, not behind that, and width 400, and the height 400. Okay, so custom size that. So I think that's large, so let's reduce the value to about 182. That's perfect. Now let's add in our score text. Add new object, add a text. This would be called score, and text, which is the initial text, we need this to set to 0, size 30. So you can add in your fonts right here. I'll just set that to bold and apply. Now let's position this x position. I think I'll just position that right here, about on the x position of 180. Okay, so now let's add our score box. Add new object sprites. This would be the sprites which our knife must be in collision with before a score is added to our score text. So just name this score box. Add it with Pisco. Okay, so just get this color black, paste and apply. Put this into the scene. Okay, so x position 120, y position 240. Now we need to reduce the width. We don't want it this large, so I'll take this up a bit. Z over, let's say that's about 5, and for width 153 would do, and for height 26. Custom size that, and I think that's perfect for now. We need to reposition this. Take this down. Okay, so let's take this up a bit, 156, and that's perfect. Also score text, let's position that right here. Okay, so that's all for our layouts. Now let's go to our events. Add an empty event. Okay, so before we begin this, we will be working with 3 groups. It would be wood, knife, rotate and pin, scoring, knife force, and respawn knife. So let's begin with our force. So add a new group. Just get that right here. This would be a sub condition, so it will be in the group. I would name this knife force. This would get all the events we need for knife to move upwards. So okay, so add an action at the beginning of the scene. There we go. At the beginning of the scene, add an action. That's a condition. Sorry about that. So we need to create object knife. Create object knife at the X position of 200 and the Y position of 390. I think we'll just set our layer to the base layer. Okay, so while we're also at the beginning of the scene, we need to hide our collision object, collision box. We don't want this showing in our game. So add an action, hide collision box. Okay, now add an empty event. Add a condition. Okay, so once the our touch. So here we go. Okay, so mouse button pressed or touch held, which will be our left. Okay, so once the touch or left mouse button is down, let's create a timer. Scene timer, value of a scene timer. I'll go with 1.5 seconds, and timer's name would be click again. So this will set distance value between each click, so we don't want our play just clicking, so it must take a second 0.5 or 1.5 seconds before the next click is accepted. Also add a condition, 3 go once. Okay, so 3 go once. Okay, now add an action, scene variable. Let's get a scene variable out here. So value of a scene variable, let's create a scene variable, add I'll name this force and apply. So variable force sign set to value 1. Okay, now add an action, reset. Okay, so reset the scene timer's name, which will be click again. So it would reset the click again timer, so we don't want our play just clicking and getting our knives like that. So once every 1.5 seconds it creates, and the mouse button is down, it adds a force, or it creates this, changes the scene variable force to 1. So now add an empty event, add a condition. So scene variable, value for scene variable force sign equals to values compare 1. Add an action, timer, value of a scene timer. Sorry, we used this already, sorry about that. Add a condition, collision. Okay, so this would be our collision between our knife and our collision object, collision box. Okay, so now add an action, add the force. So add a force to the object's knife. On the X, we need a force of 0, and on the Y, a force of minus 800. Add a permanence force. Okay, and also we need this to be a trigger once. We need this to trigger once, so add a force. Also, add an action, scene variable. Now we need to change the scene variable force back to the value of 0. Okay, so this will take place in a loop. Now once this the left mouse button is down and click again is greater than 1.5 seconds, resets the timer, changes the scene variable force to 1. Once the force is set to 1 and knife is in collision with collision box, it trigger once, it adds a force to knife, and it changes the scene variable force to 0, so it just keeps on going in a loop. Okay, so for second group will be the rotate knife and sorry about that. Okay, so rotate knife and wood. I'll just name that this knife and wood rotate. Okay, so there we go. Now add a sub condition, add a condition. So at the beginning of the scene. Okay, so now add an action, scene variable, value of a scene variable. Let's create a new variable, add a variable. This would be rotate. Okay, so sine set to value of 100. This would be the speed. So we need to store this, sorry, variable rotates. So this would be the speed at which our wood rotates, and also our knife. So add an action. Now let's make this random. We need it to switch sides. We don't want it to keep going in one direction. So we need to switch sides. To do that, we need a scene variable which is changed by the score box. So add a condition scene variable, value of a scene variable, add a new variable, add, this would be direction. I'll just shorten that with dir. Okay, so direction sine set to value of -100. Okay, so once it's set, sorry, that's a wrong event. Okay, so once it's set to 1, 3 go once. Okay, so now add an action, scene variable, value of a scene variable, rotate sine set to value of -100. Okay, now add an empty event, add a condition, scene variable, value of a scene variable, direction sine equals to value of 0. So once it's equals to 0, we need to trigger once. Also trigger once, add an action, scene variable, value of okay, so the scene variable rotate sine set to value of 100. Okay, so now add an empty event, add an action, so rotates. And we need this to rotate the object's wood angular speed. We need to get the scene variable which we created, which is rotate. So variable rotates, so wood rotates our wood based on the variable rotate. Okay, so now add an empty event. Okay, so now add a condition collision. So collision, once our knife is in collision with the object's wood. Okay, now add a condition, and also collision, knife is in collision with the object's wood. Now you need to set this invert condition. Once a condition is inverted, it translates to knife is not in collision with wood. So it gives the inverse of the original condition. Also add an act condition, trigger once while true. Okay, so trigger once, add an action, stop the object, knife. Okay, also add an action, rotate the object, knife. Add the same with the scene variable, as the variable rotate, so we would use the same variable as our wood. Also add an action, change the variable. Now value of a scene variable, let's create a new variable, add this would be called spun, and apply. So variable spun sine set to value of 1. Okay, so I'll just create some empty events. So okay, so now for our third group, which would be our scoring group, I'll just add that right here. And sorry about that, I'll close my knife wood group, and this would be our scoring group. Now add the sub condition and add a condition. So once our knife is in collision with the object's score box, and add a condition, collision, knife is in collision with wood, which would be a 3 go on, sorry, which would be an inverse condition. So you just invert that So now knife is not in collision with wood, add a condition, trigger once while through. So once this conditions are true, we need to change the scene variable, value of the scene variable. Let's create our last variable, which would be our score, and apply. So variable score, we needed to add 1 to the variable score. Also add an action scene variable. So value of a scene variable. Now we need a random between the direction. Remember we used the direction right here. Here goes the direction. So now once the knife is in collision with scorebox, and its knife is not in collision with wood, we need to give this a random behavior between the direction scene variable. So sign set to value random. So random floats in, random in range. Because that's a random float in range of a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 1. Okay, let's just take this into a random in range of, we don't need the float right there. Okay, so random in range of the value 0 and 1. Now add an empty vent and add an action. So now we need to modify the effects which we created, which would be score sign set to based on the scene variable. Effects of a scene variable not spawn but score, and apply. Okay, so that this scores our player. Let's just have a preview of this. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it adds a force to this. Now to respawn the knife, which would be our last group, add a new group right here, and this would be respawn. Okay, so add a subcondition, add a condition, scene variable, value of the scene variable spawn, signs equal to value 1. Okay, and also now add a condition. Once the timer, value of the scene timer of 1.5 seconds will be our timing seconds, and timer's name spawn. Okay, so add a condition, and the position, the Y position of an object, Y position of knife is less than value of 300. Add an action, create the object. We need to create the object knife at X position 200 and the Y position of 390. Same base layer. Okay, and also we need to reset the scene timer. Reset the timer, spawn. Okay. Okay, so I'll just close that up. Scoring. Okay, something's not right here. Knife is in collision with wood. Knife is not in collision. That's not supposed to be wood. It's collision box, and we don't want it triggering once, so just delete that. Sorry about that, and close that and close that up. So preview. So here we go. Once I press this, as you can see, it attaches to the wood. Same here. We keep going. There we go. Keeps going round and round. So that's how it's done. Sorry about the score. So you can choose to hide the score box. Let's do that right now. Knife force. Go add an empty vent. I'll just hide that right here. So copy and paste and hide the knife. Sorry, the score box. Okay, so that hides the score box. Preview this. Now it's no more feasible, so there we go. So there we go. That's how to create a knife hit game. This knife keeps on respawning. There we go. So that's how to create a knife hit game in GDevelop 5.